Hello, Dutch Fork Ward, Brother Copeland here, and today I'm going to show you how to host a meeting through Zoom. We're going to be doing this primarily through the PC, but it is possible to do the things you see here on the mobile app. If you want to see how some of the sections of the mobile app work, you can look at the previous video, which is doing just the basic usage of Zoom. So that said, let's get started. First thing you're going to do is go to zoom.us and then click on this orange button that says sign up. It's free. You do need an account in order to host a meeting. Don't worry, it is free though. There are some limits, which we'll go into in just a second. So let's click on the link, sign everything up, and then you'll be brought to your profile page here. I've blacked out all the sensitive information. Now, I stress that it's free because I'm sure some people notice that there's a spot here that says plans and pricing. You can get a subscription to this that gives you some added perks. In this case, this account is licensed, which means that it is subjected to a monthly fee, and at the base level, you can have up to 100 people in your meeting with an unlimited amount of time. If you get the free account and stick with basic, and it will say basic, not license, you can have up to 100 people in your meeting, but you can only last for about 40 minutes. So you should plan accordingly. I will tell you though, if you got the free account and you only have 2 people in a Zoom meeting, you have an unlimited amount of time. So let's go up here. Our primary focus is going to be the schedule meeting, but I just want to show you real quick the host a meeting options. When you click on that, it'll come up with a video on, video off, or share screen only. Usually you would do a video on, but this option is if you want to just start a meeting immediately. In our case, we're looking to schedule a meeting for a Sunday. So let's go ahead and go to the schedule a meeting option. So you'll be brought up here to schedule a meeting. Topic, that's usually going to be the title of your meeting. Description is obviously what your meeting's about, if you want to put it there. And then you can set the date and the time. The duration of your meeting, which again, depend on your subscription level. It's important to keep an eye on that. And then you go through and then you can set any other options you'd like. Usually leaving everything by default is fine. You won't really need to do much of that, and some of these you can change during the meeting. Once you're sure you've selected all of your options, then you've got another spot here where you can put an alternative host. So you can put another person's email that you know of to act as a host if you are not available. Once you've done all this, you click on the save button. And then your meeting will be popped up here. Now, I didn't take a screen capture of this, but if you highlight a meeting, it'll give you an option to start a meeting, delete a meeting, or change a meeting. It's always a good idea if you are in charge of hosting your meeting and you've got people to collaborate with, come to your meeting early, start it a little early, so you can test and make sure everything is working appropriately. So far, there haven't been too many issues about that, and you should be fine, but it's always a good, excuse me, it's always a good idea to do a test run, make sure everything's going okay. So let's start by going to the meeting controls. This will be a little bit different than the ones you would see if you were a normal user. You have your microphone, your camera, security, participants, chat, share, record, reactions. You also have the ability to end the meeting here, go full screen or change a view, which is normally right over here as well. But give you kind of a quick view, this is what you would see if you were just on the participant side. And now we're back to the host side. So let's go over a couple of these features right here and what their differences are. So on security, you can unlock a meeting, which means nobody else will be able to join the meeting in progress. You can hide profile pictures. And this is what you can allow the participants to do. So usually by default, the screen share is off. You've got chat, and you've got these options right here. Let's be honest, you're probably going to ignore them, maybe take a chat off, it's up to you. But for the most part, you're going to probably leave this alone. So if you click on the Participants tab, you'll be brought this spot right here. This will show you who's all in the meeting. It'll label you and whether your camera or your microphones are active. So if you click on the three little dots down here at the bottom, that'll bring up this screen. That'll give you more options. So again, you probably won't use this as much, but it is here. And these are the default settings that are normally assigned. If you enable chat and you have the participant screen at the same time, it's going to split in half. If you take away the participants, it will put a full screen on the chat. So it's probably good to have these both up if you're the host. The chat, again, only really matters if you're sharing links or other information for a person maybe that doesn't have a microphone, that can't talk during your lesson. You can set it to everyone so everyone can see it, or you can send a message or a file to a particular person on the list. All you have to do is change the everyone to whoever you want to send the text to. Now, if you click on the end, it'll give you the option to end meeting for all, leave meeting, give feedback, or cancel. Usually, once your class is over, you're going to want to hit the end meeting for all. If you hit leave meeting, this will make somebody else the host of the meeting. So make sure that you always click on end meeting for all once it's finished. If you click on give feedback, that's for you to give feedback to Zoom for your experience. So it's up to you whether you want to check that or not, but that's not for anyone else in your class to give feedback to you. So let's move on to the next. Excuse me. So let's say you're in a meeting, you want to invite someone to that meeting. First thing you'll do is you'll click on this invite right here. It'll bring up this screen. If you have contacts that are available in your account, they'll be displayed here, and then you can click on them and send an invitation. You can also copy a link and do it on your own, or you can hit the email button, which will bring you up this screen. So depending on which mail service you have, it'll pull up the appropriate screen. In this case, I click on Gmail. This is what will pop up. So you type in the web address to whoever you want to send it to, and then once you're done, you click send, and they'll get that invitation. The most important thing in the meeting on this invitation is this web link right here, because usually everyone could click on this link and get to your meeting without any problems. If they do have a problem, they can type in this meeting and passcode information in the respective screen. But normally, if you send this by email, you only need to just let them click on this link, and it'll automatically open Zoom up on your respective device. So let's say you've got the meeting going, I sent an invitation, and I just happen to be off that screen for some reason. You'll get a notification at the bottom that someone has clicked on that link and is waiting to be let into the room. If you click on View, you'll be brought up to this screen, and then you'll see that there's one person in the waiting room here, and as you hover over their name, you can either admit them or remove them. Usually you're going to admit them if you went through the trouble to invite them. So we invite, admit, and then the person is now part of the meeting. You'll see there's a little message here that says is connected to your audio and can't hear you yet. This is something we talked about in the previous video. You need to make sure when you join a meeting, you click Join Audio and select Computer Audio. And once you get past that, everything will just keep on rolling. So, beg your pardon. So let's go on to the next thing. We want to make another host. As you can see, I've got only one option to make a host, not a co-host. Well, sometimes in meetings, maybe you want to make somebody the co-host and they'll have similar controls to you, but the other person who is either the main host or becomes the co-host, they can monitor the chat or the participants in there, leaving you free to teach the class. But since I have only the make host option, how do I fix that? Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to go back to my profile. So let's go there now. So as I go to my profile, I go to, under the amend section, I go to account settings, which brings this up on your screen. And then I want to go down to in meeting basic. And in this section, you see this section right here, co-host. If something is blue, it's active, you're allowed to do it. If it's gray, you can't use it. And this is important to do. If your meeting's already going, at least for me when I was experimenting with this, I had to start the meeting all over again. So make sure if you want the ability to set co-hosts, you do this before you start your meeting. So now let's go back to our meeting. I've restarted it, and now you see there's an option after I click on the name and I hit the More button. There's an option to make a co-host. Once you make that person the co-host, that gives you the option to let that person take over any of the moderation duties in the chat or adding people in, and allows you to continue on without having to worry about any of the lessons part. So let's see a couple more things. Well, there's the co-host symbol. When it comes to your time to work on the lesson, the same thing I brought up in the previous video, you want to make sure by clicking on this little arrow right here that your microphone and speakers are set correctly. Usually they are, but if you have more than one option for either a speaker system or a microphone, you need to make sure that those are set appropriately. Otherwise, nobody's going to be able to hear you, or you won't be able to hear the other people. Same as the video. You know, if you got more than one webcam, please make sure you have the correct webcam selected. If you don't, that's going to be a slight problem. Nobody will be able to see you, much less hear you. And the last thing we'll go over here is the view. If you click on view, it gives you the option for the speaker view, gallery view, and full screen. Full screen obviously just takes up the whole screen. Speaker view is, which it's set to now, it allows you to only focus on whoever is talking. So, like if Cactus started talking, then Cactus would appear here on the screen. If Mankind is talking, Mankind appears on the screen, which those are the names. So that about wraps that up for this. I know this is a lot of information to throw at you, but looking at this, it is relatively simple. It just takes a little bit of practice if you're nervous, but don't worry, you're going to be fine. You can do this. If you need more tutorials, they are always available at zoom.us, where they also have picture guides and video tutorials that you can watch through again. The one other thing I will draw your attention to is the record reactions or share screen. The share screen is important for the host who's teaching the meeting in case they're showing off scripture passages or something of importance that's on your desktop. That's what the share screen is for. You normally do not have this available to the participants because you don't necessarily need the participants sharing their screens, but you can allow that option if you so desire. The recording and reactions, you should ignore them. What record does, and this is only available to the host, is allow you to record your meeting. It'll record it to either the hard drive, or if you have a subscription, it'll allow you to record to the cloud. And reactions are just emojis that go in the chat. So, again, you're probably not going to pay too much attention to those. So ignore these two. And that concludes our lesson. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy this. And good luck. Have a great day.